Hey everybody, how's it going? We just wanted to start off the show today with celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I know it's near all of us on the show, and they've made extreme leaps and bounds in the way of sciences and cure for it and everything like that. And we just want to continue to spread the message of breast cancer awareness. Ryan and your aunt, and I know your future mother-in-law.
Yeah, my Aunt Sue and Shaylee's mom, Sandy Simonton. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Yeah, she's been, I believe it's a little over a year free of. I don't know if that's correct, but she still goes to her doctor's appointments. It's scary stuff. Anytime you have to go through chemotherapy, luckily she took care of herself as much as she could, going all plant-based, but definitely bringing awareness to breast cancer. It's a huge thing. So, all the ladies out there, go get the tatas checked out.
Get those tatas checked out.
But Brandon, you as well.
Yeah, my grandmother on my mom's side, she's a breast cancer survivor. So
And another friend of the show, Pam Toombs, another
Absolutely.
breast cancer survivor, longtime family friend from
One of my coworkers.
Yeah, there you go. Zumba teacher at the Y. So breast cancer awareness month.
get the tatas checked.
Check them out.
Gotta get that catchphrase, right?
Yeah.
Get the catchphrase.
All right, let's get into it.
Are you guys ready?
Let's do this.
Let's start the show.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Lights, camera, action.
All right, everybody, here we go. Episode 17.
Damn.
The title, I don't want to...
That's quite.
Playoffs?
That's a long time.
Talking about the playoffs?
Dude, solid title.
We're getting up there.
Baseball playoffs started this week. We had the 163 games, the ties.
Two of them. It's the first time ever there's been two.
It was great.
It was great. So
Stupid
two
Dodgers won, but it was still
tiebreakers.
great.
Two tiebreakers, wild card games, the first games of the
NLDS.
or NLDS.
NLDS,
Yeah, I was going to say ALDS, but yeah, NLDS. A lot of stuff happened in NFL week 4. We got some NHL talks. We got all this stuff coming up.
Everything good's going on right now.
So welcome back, Dean.
Yeah,
We have NHL.
I know. I was excited.
Who's the ESPN reporter? Barry.
Barry Melrose.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Barry Melrose.
Dude.
That's you're
Mr.
the Barry,
Slickback.
You're the Barry Melrose.
I'm the Melrose of this.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I wanted to start off the show today with our intro. The guys, Enrique, obviously Brandon, your brother.
Yep.
Over there at the All Bad podcast and the Because You Watch podcast. So I was listening to their latest episode, and they're talking about the best wings in San Diego.
Oh God.
I was so disappointed because Enrique couldn't even come up with one. He was like, oh, maybe this, maybe that. And the whole time I'm in my car sitting there screaming, it's Dirty Birds. Dirty Birds is the best wings in San Diego.
I mean, if you're talking about the best wings that we claim that's not from a chain, absolutely. It's got to be Dirty Birds.
Well, what do you mean from a chain?
Well, I mean, you obviously
from a
have Hooters, which is nationwide, and Buffalo Wild Wings, which is nationwide.
But I still think Dirty Birds is better than both of those.
No, that's what I mean. But not claiming a chain. If you're talking about something from San Diego, like Phil's Barbecue's in San Diego.
Yeah.
It's nowhere else. So, where's your favorite barbecue? You would say, you wouldn't say Chili's.
Yeah.
Maybe you like their ribs better than Phil's Barbecue, but from San Diego, it's got to be Dirty Birds.
That's what I was saying.
I know this is gonna. I might get shot here, but I've never had Dirty Birds.
Dude, no, it's okay.
It's okay.
I only had
Yeah.
it for the first time this past year, but there was only the one location in PB, and it was always packed. So I just was like, I don't handle being around that many people at one time.
I hate driving over there too because
There's no freaking parking.
There's no
Yeah,
parking.
Parking's awful over there.
That's terrible. No, I would agree with Dirty Birds.
Well, James was saying that he's the chef over there. I think he's a sous chef or maybe a head chef for the Pandry Hotel downtown. And he was saying that Papa John's was his favorite wings.
God.
I was like, how is a chain pizza? It's pizza place is your favorite? I don't know.
James, if you're listening, I lost what little respect I had for you.
But
I'm just kidding.
I think Brandon would agree with me. The best wings are probably Costco's wings.
I was just gonna say, I think the best wings ever for certain are the Costco wings. I think there was one time me and Dean, after a nice gym session, we were really hungry that day, and
Feeling disgusting.
we had this crazy idea in our head that we were going to finish an entire bag of wings.
Wrong
I think
with
it was
you
like
guys?
48 wings.
I went
in
over
the
to
bag.
Dean's house one time, and he literally made me a chicken. A whole chicken.
That-
And he put it on a plate, and he put my sides in a separate plate. And he's like, here you go. And I was like, are you kidding?
Boy likes to eat, man.
Hey,
He
you got to
cooked
eat.
2 pounds or 2 whole chickens.
I like to eat, man.
Well,
Gotta cook it up.
begrudgingly to our girlfriends who we tell this story to several times, we ate we didn't finish the whole bag, but we attempted to finish the whole bag, and
Because it was
we're
like
probably in a
48,
food.
50 wings.
We
It was
we
a
were
lot.
we were in like a food coma for the rest of the day, and I remember your dad came in and he's like, "What's going on, guys?" And we're just like,
If I had a
We
dollar
tried to eat
for
a
every time
Costco
Raul
bag.
said that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just
I could do a whole segment on things that Raw has walked in on or seen us doing.
Whoa, okay.
yeah, take it easy.
Hey
man.
now.
No, the one in particular is the
The lights have always been on.
The lights have always been on.
the Costco-sized bottle of tequila that you and I finished at the One Country concert.
Yeah.
He came in the next morning. He's like, "Hey, where'd the bottle of tequila go?" And we go, "We finished it." He's like, "You're disgusting."
We took it.
Well, that's a rightful response.
Yeah. It was a rights for. I did feel disgusting after that.
I woke up fine because I'm pretty sure I was still drunk. An hour later, I felt disgusting.
Well, plus we were young then. Brandon and I were joking about it. Like we had a couple beers earlier, and then we were drinking water. He goes, "Man, I need to hydrate because sometimes I drink beer, I don't feel good the next day." I'm like, "Yep, we're getting older. Our hangovers are just coming off of like 2 or 3 beers.
Yeah, it's
I
happening
don't
now.
feel the same."
That's not good.
But the other thing, so for all of our listeners, if you don't listen to the All Bad podcast and the Because You Watch podcast, you need to tune in because, those guys are doing amazing stuff over there. They have a great topics, great crew. They're going through everything that you can think of under the sun. I think Enrique calls it the buffet of podcasts just because they touch on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
You name it.
The one other thing that they
That would have
touched
been a
on.
good name.
What?
You name it.
You name
You
it.
name it? That would have been. Change your name. No,
Change it. All bad.
But the other thing was they were talking about this hang challenge. So, of course, we're mentioning James again just because, we can't keep his name out of our mouth. He was saying that he would pay anybody $100 if they could hang from a pull-up bar for 2 minutes.
Oh, like flag pulling it. Isn't that what they
No,
call
you
it?
just hang
No, you
down.
just hang.
You don't have to
That's a
flag
long
pull. You don't have to
time.
go sideways.
It's long. I know some people that can do it, but that's a long time.
It sounds
My,
like
my
yeah.
grip would give out first.
You think so?
I would slip. Yeah, dude.
yeah.
I feel like
What if you have chalk? My hands are getting sweaty thinking about
2
this.
minutes is a long time.
I
It
feel
is
like
a long time.
yeah, I
I'd
mean,
like to just try it though because I feel like it would be kind of feasible.
you
I
said
think a minute would be fine. 2 minutes is a long time.
Yeah.
$100. You said.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to
I'm
try.
gonna start practicing at the gym.
I know now.
But it definitely has to have like grip on the bar. It can't be like a slick bar or something.
I was gonna say it might be better with like the 24-hour like rock climbing type handles.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
can actually grip those and
Yeah,
have
better
better
like kind of squish on them.
substance to it, yeah.
yeah.
Not even the
Yes.
squish, but the fact that they have like the rock like feel to it.
Oh, okay. I know which ones you're talking about.
I like how we
yeah.
both looked up as I grabbed it.
I thought you were gonna start rock climbing
Imaginary
right
rock.
now. Yeah, so I think those guys over at the All Bad podcast need to try some new wings because they need to come up with something better than
Papa
John's
Get outta
wings.
here.
Dude, you could do so much better, like Costco.
yeah.
Man, dude, like outside of Dirty Birds, like I do like Buffalo Wild Wing wings.
Well, it's called something else now. I think they got bought out. It's like Express Wild Wings or
Buffalo
something like
Wild
that.
Wings did get bought out, but they haven't officially changed their name.
Okay, I
They're
just
still
saw
being-
there's one
they're
in Mirror
probably waiting
Mesa
till
that
after
they
the football
changed
season.
it.
They never put enough sauce on their wings.
No, they do not.
No.
And that's one of those
You always
things
gotta
that's,
get sauce on the
I
side.
I hold it against them because I just need. I mean, if I'm getting buffalo wings, I got to get buffalo sauce on
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
The sauce.
I didn't know
The
Dean-
sauce
Dean,
boss
can
is
your stomach
spoken.
handle buffalo wings? Because I remember the one time I took you to Hooters, you were like, "You're gonna kill me." Because
The
No,
sauce
I
does
mean,
kind
my
of mess up
stomach-
my stomach too.
I definitely can't handle it, but I'm not gonna not eat
I
it.
had him try the spicy garlic at
Dude, Sarah
at
gets
Hooters.
so mad at me because I like to eat spicy food and my stomach just can't take it. She's like,
Yeah,
"Why do
it's
you always
'cause she
do that?"
cares.
I'm like,
It tastes good.
"It's good.
Yeah.
It's good for me."
Why do you eat ice cream? Because it tastes good. It's bad for you, but it tastes good.
Is ice cream
it's the
bad for you?
lobster effect.
Ice cream's bad for you?
It makes me happy. I thought it was good for me. Things that make me happy are good, right?
I think so.
No.
Whatever. Anyways, so I think we might take James up on that hang challenge because I need some extra money.
What if we collaborate and we each do whatever 45 seconds?
We
each,
break it
right?
up.
Or a
Maybe
little
he'll
less
give
than
us
45
$50.
seconds.
Tag team. Back again.
That's right. And then we split the $100 at 3 ways.
There we go.
I love 3-ways, so.
Oh, God.
What?
Dude, it's still too early in the podcast. You know the girls are still listening.
Oh,
It's
no.
not even 10 minutes in.
What is it, 7 minutes? I got
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
They say they listen the first 10 minutes and they drop off.
That's when you have to like cough really loud when that part comes up. You're like, oh. Anyways, let's get into the real meat of our
Baseball,
podcast.
man.
Oh, we're
Talking about baseball. Here we
That's
go.
what I love to
Postseason
hear.
baseball. Love October. Beautiful.
Dude, it's
They
great.
had, like Braden said, the first time ever there was 2 tiebreakers in the National League: the Brewers and the Cubs, and the Rockies and the Dodgers. The Brewers took that one. I mean, that was a shocker to me. I
No,
definitely
and they played the Cubs well all year.
They have, but I definitely thought the Cubs were going to show out a little bit more. I thought that was a terribly managed game on both sides.
I want to dive into the Cubs in a little bit, so I'll save my Cubs speech for afterwards. But the Brewers looked great.
Well, a little shout out to our boy Jalees Chassin. He actually started that game.
Oh, that's right.
And former Padre last year. He actually
he
pitched opening day
technically
for
was
us.
never. He
And
technically
he's no longer on the Padres anymore, and somehow he's pitching great.
Well, you know what's
technically
crazy?
he was never a Padre because his picture with the Padres the whole time was still when he was with the who was it, the A's? I think
Yeah,
we
Colorado
got, or the
Rockies.
Rockies that we got him
ESPN
from.
doesn't like to update our players.
Yeah, they just
I'm pretty
didn't-
sure Eric Hosmer's still wearing a freaking Kansas City Royals hat.
Well, the only times they'll do that is with like some of the players who.
Mid-year trades and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
The Brewers winning that put them straight into the
Number one
NLDS.
seed.
Yeah,
number
putting
one
them,
seed.
They played today against the Brewers in that first game, and then that means the Cubs had to play the Rockies in the one-game wild card. And that was actually it was the longest one-game playoff in MLB history.
It was a
I know
bad game.
it's relatively new. Yeah,
I thought it was a good game.
I mean, it was a fine game, but I just thought that, like, I know we were discussing this as the game was going about. I thought that Bud Black had outmanaged Joe Madden from the Cubs.
Yeah.
From a head coach standpoint, the manager of the team. And the only reason I said that, and I didn't get to text you guys this, was because he diluted his entire bench
I
way
agree.
too quick.
Yeah.
His whole roster wasn't getting hits. Chris Bryant did not show up. Anthony Rizzo obviously had the home run. He pinch ran for him. In those situations, obviously, with being the home team, you have the last opportunity, so you're going for the win. You want your best hitters in right away. But then you saw their catcher, had the calf injury, and they couldn't do anything about it because Kyle Schwarber was already out of the game. They started moving into their starting pitching rotation, which was an interesting move, and it seemed to have worked out.
Yeah, it definitely worked out, but it was an interesting move just because it was a one-game wild card, and you kind of want to, if you're looking for the future, to keep these guys a little bit healthier and keep them off the,
They were
give
playing
them
it like it was
rest.
Game 7 of the World Series.
They were.
Not a wild card game. And ultimately, it's not like it had that much of a factor in what happened with the game because it went 13 innings.
Yeah.
But I just felt like they depleted their bench too quickly. Looking back at it now, and that's kind of what we do. In the moment, it's hard to gauge that situation. We're obviously not head coaches of baseball teams professionally, although I do have coaching experience with baseball.
That's true.
I just thought that he could have managed it a little bit better without getting his big bats. Because, I mean, you have to prepare for the worst in all situations. And he's always been a go-getter. I mean, he was, the person that would put Aroldis Chapman in for 6-out closes.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seemed like Madden made some bad choices with his lineup, and I thought Bud Black made some interesting choices with his bullpen. I thought he utilized his bullpen. He went to him way too early. Freeman, I can't remember his first name. He was like a young kid. He came off short rest.
Yeah.
He had an amazing outing. I think he went 6 innings or something like that.
Yeah,
and
and
only
you
threw
noticed, too,
70-something pitches.
I mean, but the reason that I give him a lot of credit is because he still pitched to matchups. I mean, he was pulling pitchers with 2 outs in an inning to go after these hitters, and it was working.
Yeah, I agree. That's very true. But it just, it was an interesting managed game in total.
Oh, totally. I do agree that he pulled his starting pitcher too early.
I mean, you just look at lineups. who would you rather have? You're gonna take the Cubs roster over the Rockies any day.
And they just didn't show up.
I think the Cubs should have been a number 1 seed, and they ended up getting bounced. And I think it's pretty surprising to most people that they're out of the playoffs already.
Absolutely, and I think that we look at it from the amount of money that has been invested into that Cubs lineup. But you look at how the Brewers played all year, and that's got to be one of the most surprising teams in baseball. But Christian Yelich, Lorenzo Cain, those guys were both huge. Yelich was acquired in a trade, but they were both huge acquisitions in the offseason.
Yeah. Yelich might get MVP, man.
Yeah, there's going to be
he's definitely in the running.
He's definitely, I think, top 2 in the NL for MVP candidates. I mean, he's the only player in history to hit for 2 cycles in a season.
Yeah, and he had an amazing first game today too.
I was looking at his splits in the first half. He was basically a 300 hitter, and then he had roughly like 10 home runs or something in the first half, and then the second half he missed more games, and somehow he hit like 25 home runs or something ridiculous like that, and had like a 360 batting average in his.
He's getting those Ryan Brown.
His
steroids.
OPS was like 200 something. His numbers are just insane.
Yeah. And then, dude, he was a baller with the I wanted to say Dolphins, the Marlins. He played well. And you look at the Marlins roster and what their players are doing on other teams.
Well, this was his best year of his career.
Oh yeah, but you got to question what they. I mean, if what they were doing worked. I mean, they unloaded everybody too quickly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But even still, Javi Baez, he showed. Well, he was, he's having an amazing year. He tied that game up.
That's my second MVP candidate. So yeah, I mean,
he gets on base, steals a base and
drives in the game time run in the 8th inning. I believe.
Yeah, that's what it was. That led it into extras. So yeah, I mean, it's
great baseball. Game. And I mean, if we're sticking with the National League, the Cubs, they're looking rough right now. Their stars are not playing like stars. Jason Hayward's not playing the way he's supposed to be. Chris Bryant, he had a very down year. Anthony Rizzo. I mean, Javier Baez is the reason that their team was in a position to be the number 1 seed. And to me, that's why I think he's my MVP candidate. He was so clutch this year. I mean, he was the reason, honestly, that they had as many wins as they did. But for the Cubs, man, I mean, they're basically looking at signing Bryce Harper or bust this offseason. They need to fix some of their starting rotation, but they have to go find another bat because they realize how inconsistent their bats were. I saw a statistic that said Chris Bryant's 3 for 33 in the playoffs. You're not going to win games like that.
Yeah, that's one thing that really pisses me off about guys, too, is just when they can't produce in the playoffs. I mean, that's why I cannot stand
That's where you make your money.
Can't stand Nick Swisher. He was horrible in the playoffs with the Yankees. I couldn't stand.
But he put up great numbers in the regular season.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But
that's where you make your money, in my opinion. If you're on a bad team, like I don't mind Will Myers' contract because we're not a contending team.
Yeah,
and he does what he's supposed to do, on a losing team.
Yeah, and you mentioned Bryce Harper. We have some potential reality fantasy news about him that's coming up in our segment after we talk about a little bit more baseball. That A's and Yankees game, though, that was dominated by the Yankees. Oh. They were just destroyed the A's. That was ridiculous.
My heart goes out to those Oakland fans.
Honestly, man, and I know this is a bold prediction, but the Yankees are my team to win the whole thing. Based off the fact that their lineup is built to beat the Red Sox.
Dude, their batting order is set. Their bullpen is deep. They know how to use it. They know who to trust each other. It's just a well-oiled machine. That's got to be the most
exciting playoff matchup this year.
Well, I was just gonna say, how disappointing is it that they're matching up in the NL or the ALDS when it's only a 5-game series as opposed to 7?
Absolutely,
it's a bummer. It's just such a huge bummer.
But I still think the Yankees lineup is built to beat that starting rotation. You look at the top 2 pitchers on the Red Sox, David Price and Chris Sale. 2 hard-throwing lefties, and Gary Sanchez, as much as he is a terrible catcher, is a great hitter when it comes to hitting off lefties. Stanton, Judge, that lineup is built to beat the Red Sox. So hopefully they can get 3 out of 5 and move on to the next round. Yeah. But it's going to be a really interesting. I mean, and those are 2. That's got to be the most.
It's like
the best rivalry in sports.
Oh, by far.
It's so great this year because both of them are young teams. Both of them are coming up. You have a lot of different acquisitions from different players this year.
They're building that hate young.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's good to see.
Red Sox franchise record for wins, I think.
I always forget Brandon's a Red Sox fan, so I'm sorry.
I'm a Padre fan. Let's get this straight. But if I were to pick an American League team, it'd probably be. I actually do kind of like Oakland. But Red Sox would probably be the top pick.
The best thing from that wild card game that really made me feel good about the Yankees was Severino came out and he looked amazing, and then Dylan Betances came out and he had, I think, 3 shutout innings. Which
each player did what they were supposed to do. I mean, you saw home runs from both Stanton and Judge.
Yeah.
You saw great bullpen pitching. I mean, you saw the late inning home run, which, I mean, when you're up by 5 at that point, it's fine.
Yeah.
I knew Oakland was screwed when I saw the stat before the game when they were going up against Severino that they are the worst team in baseball as far as batting average and slugging percentage against pitchers who throw 95 plus. And Severino is probably top 5 flamethrowers for starters in baseball. So
he's got a
I mean that. Yeah, they did a good job working those counts early in the game, but I mean, for the most part, that was pretty much dominance from the Yankees' rotation.
Absolutely. And then on the other side of the AL, we got the Indians playing the Astros.
Yeah,
that'll be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Kluber's obviously the stud there.
I think we know who's going to win that matchup. To be honest,
I mean, honestly, at this point though, I mean, I really do hate the one game wild card because it doesn't do any justice to what baseball is, and it's that you have to beat a team best of 7.
Mm-hmm.
Best of 5 and best of 7. And I don't think that the one game wild card really does baseball justice by, playing one game. It's not the NFL. It's not.
We talked about it a little bit on the last week's podcast. It's I think 3 is kind of for as far as us 3.
Yeah, I think 3 is fine. I think 3 is great, and postseason baseball is so short. It's literally 1 month. If you extend it another couple days, I don't think you're going to lose that many viewers. I get it. They kind of want to build up that momentum of 1 to 5 to 7, and it's over.
I think it should be 3.
Should be 3.
I think it should be 3.
Yeah, best of 3 series. The 2 games today though were the Rockies and the Brewers that went into extras. The Brewers ended up winning that one. And
Moose.
The Dodgers and the Braves. I didn't watch that one at all. I don't even know.
6-0 the last time I checked. The Braves are like I said before. They're who we thought they were. They do not belong in the playoffs. They're in a division where the Nationals tanked and the Phillies didn't show up in the second half of the year. So shout out to the Braves.
They got there.
They were one of the worst teams in baseball last year, but they're going against the Dodgers, who hit more home runs than anybody else in the NL.
That was it's pretty sad.
Yeah,
it's a poor draw. It's a poor draw.
It is a poor draw.
I mean, this is the first year of a long run, is what they're hoping.
Well, it sucks too because I hate that the Dodgers get such an easy toss-up matchup because if they do sweep. If they do sweep and then that Rockies Brewers game series goes the distance, they have so much rest time.
So I know we talked about this earlier in the week just with us, but everybody's like, "Oh, I want the I want the Dodgers to win this game, or I want the Cubs to win this game." I was like, "I don't want a cakewalk for the freaking Dodgers."
That's true.
I'm tired of this damn team, and honestly, the only reason that I slightly root for the Dodgers, and it's not even, it's like a 90-10 here. I don't want Dave Roberts to get fired. In my opinion, they win a World Series or he's gone. I mean, you guys can say what you want about it. I think that is fact.
You're not far off.
I don't
from
think
the
you're
truth.
far off. Yeah, just because he's been given chances.
Think about it. They have $250 million invested in that roster. $250 million. That's more than anybody else in baseball by a lot. If they don't win a World Series, it's all for nothing. And you think about what they've given up to have the players that they have right now. Obviously, your Bellingers and your Matt Kemps were people that they did have to end up trading for Matt Kemp, but those are people that you've developed up with your franchise.
Yeah.
But they had to give away their best prospect to get Manny Machado, a guy that's probably going to be wearing pinstripes next year. So if you don't win this year, it's a bust. And I think if they don't win, Dave Roberts is out of there.
Yeah, and I mean, former Padre, you hate to see him lose a job. That's the other part that the NL West just always kills me is that basically every head coach of every other team was a part of the Padres.
Yeah,
at
besides
some
the
point.
Diamondbacks, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, the Padres' current manager, Andy Green, was the third base coach for the Diamondbacks. So it's like
You got Bochy
I mean,
over there with World Series rings. You
they
got
all
Dave
move-
Roberts.
they
Just
all
a
move
bunch, just a
around.
bunch of homie hoppers
Well,
over there. And then
I mean, speaking of Mike Scioscia got unloaded after 19 years with the Angels.
yeah,
That's been a long time, man.
I mean,
yeah. I saw the Orioles got rid
I
of
don't
Buck
really-
Showalter too. I thought
Yeah.
that was a good move.
I mean, they're both situations where
He had been needing. They needed to get rid
It's
of
just-
him a while ago, but
and like
yeah.
Showalter's a great manager, and he did great things with that team when they didn't have a whole lot. And same thing with Scioscia over with the Angels. He won a World Series back in 2000 and
yeah,
something.
when he first got the team,
Yeah.
and then he
So, but
hasn't
I-
done anything since.
Exactly. I just think that it's a situation where you're looking to rebuild and you need a new person to put the blame on for being bad. I mean, honestly, like you have to keep it interesting for your fans.
You got to
The-
find a scapegoat.
The Angels, I think, have just been poorly managed, but that's an entirely different.
They have the
breed.
best player in baseball on their team, and they can't make the playoffs.
And
That's pathetic.
yeah,
They have a lot of great players, but they have so many bad contracts that it's really just holding them back.
And it's been like that for a long time, man. Ever since they had Vladimir Guerrero.
Ugh.
I mean,
yeah.
but I mean, honestly, I look at the Dodgers, and I think if they're not winning this year, he's gone. But they're playing the Braves, so that 4 games. I mean, honestly, like I don't see that series going 6 games.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Or I'm sorry. So it'd be 3 games.
3 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
The
don't
best
see
of
that.
5 series. So yeah, that's the part that I was saying that is pissing me off is that they're gonna sweep them in 3 games. They're gonna have
Maybe
you
it
know
goes
what-
4.
maybe it goes 4. Even
either
if
the
it goes
Brewers
4,
or
and the Brewers and the
or
Rockies, if
and the Rockies
that
they've
goes,
owned.
yeah, but if that goes the distance to 5 games, like that means the Dodgers have
Fresh pitching.
four games of rest
Yep.
for everyone to rest.
Yep.
And then they can just hit the ground running. That's
Dude, the Dodgers are going to
easy,
be in the World
yeah.
Series. I mean, I want the Brewers to get there. I think that's awesome. I know baseball will probably hate it, but it would be
I don't-
awesome for the Brewers to get there.
We were talking about it in that series. I kind of want the Rockies. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm like,
I don't.
I'm with
just
Dean.
don't-
I'm like on the fence on that one. I don't know who to pick for that matchup.
Ryan, don't turn your back on us. Come on.
I will say this:
It
I'm
was-
still very bitter about Matt Holliday's slide at home plate. That dude lied through his teeth when he said
Yeah.
that he touched home plate, and we know he's full of it.
Well, it was funny because
You're both disgusting.
in that wild card game, they asked Bud Black. They were like, "So, did you talk to Matt Holliday? Did he touch the plate?" And he goes, "He'll never admit it, but we both know he didn't."
Hey,
But I honestly, just because, like, I mean, dude,
The Rockies give me hope as a Padre fan that we can make it eventually.
that's
I will
what I'm
say
saying.
that.
It just makes our division look better, and it gives us more
But there's
strength.
no
and I
part of me
think-
that believes that the Rockies will beat the Dodgers in a 7-game series.
Yeah,
They've
same.
lost the last 5 straight meetings between
I don't
those.
think there's a team in the National League that's going to beat them. And the
No, I
sad
don't
part
either.
is I think the top 3 teams are in the American League right now, and you're looking at
Yeah.
just kind of where they're currently
Astros,
at.
Yankees, Red Sox.
Yep,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep. But the season wrapped up. The Major League Baseball doesn't give out the awards till I think after the NL or like the NLAL CS.
But before the World Series.
The week before the World Series, they give out the awards. But as of now, who's your guys' season MVP?
NL, Javier Baez.
I'm going to go with I like
Christian
Yelich. Christian Yelich is my boy.
Yeah, I was thinking
I like
Baez
both
as
of them.
well.
I
I
mean,
like
honestly,
both
it's
of
a
them.
coin
They're
flip
both
to me.
they're
Yeah,
both
both-
really good, and
yeah.
you can make arguments for
They're
both
both
of them.
deserving. AL, I would still say Mike Trout. I mean, Mookie Betts has put on a fantastic year and will probably get more votes because he's on a playoff team. But Mike Trout's the best player in baseball.
I mean, JD Martinez might get some votes
I was
too.
going to
He's-
say,
I think the only problem with
JD
JD Martinez is he's a designated hitter.
yeah, but I mean, he was a triple crown threat for most of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
got
I
it,
still
too,
think
so.
Mookie Betts ends up with more votes than.
He could, and
What
I
he
definitely
makes-
agree. I
he
think Mike
makes-
Trout's the most deserving, though.
if he played the full season, he missed some time, didn't he?
A little bit, not
So,
a lot.
but,
I think it was like
I
4.
not more than
I think Trout's the best player in baseball. So
That's the
I
thing,
mean,
is
if
like
you
we-
give it to him, it's like the LeBron James. You give him the MVP every year.
That's the
because he's
problem
best
with
player.
freaking
But he hasn't
sports
won
now.
the MVP in like
That-
5
dude,
years.
that's the thing that drives me nuts. I mean, you could give the damn MVP to Tom Brady every year in the NFL. You should give it to Tom Brady every year. You should give it to LeBron James every year. But we sit here and question specifics and look at the title of the award. It's most valuable player. Who is the most valuable player in the league? And
well, not only
we overanalyze it. It's not talking about who. Like obviously, statistics play into it. The year that Russell Westbrook, averaged a triple-double, obviously he was deserving. Yeah. He, took his team to the playoffs pretty much single-handedly. But every other year between that, I mean, LeBron James deserved it. Tom Brady deserves it every year, and Mike Trout deserves it this year.
Well, I look at it from like a war standpoint of like wins above replacement. You take that player out, how good or how bad is that team going to be? And you take Tom Brady out, Patriots are garbage. You take LeBron out, whatever team he's on is garbage. You take
Mike Trout, probably the worst team in baseball.
Yeah. So I think Trout is deserving of that. But for pitchers, Cy Young, who do you guys think?
I think with the American League, I gotta go Blake Snell. Tampa Bay Rays.
That's a good pick, honestly, and I would probably.
And I don't think he's gonna get it, but he deserves it.
I probably would give it to Blake Snell, and for National League, DeGrom's.
Oh hell yeah, that was my other one, dude.
Yeah. DeGrom, I think,
he's probably got the worst win-loss record for anybody.
He might be a unanimous guy. I think maybe there's gonna be like a couple sympathies for Max Scherzer, but
Max Scherzer is another guy that's deserving of it. But dude, DeGrom had 1.7 ERA.
Yeah. God, and everybody else who ever puts up a 1.7 at the end of the season is getting Cy Young.
Yeah, those are both great picks. For the Padres, though, I know it was a rough season, 98 losses.
Yeah.
Padres MVP and Padres Cy Young.
Hunter Renfroe.
Ooh, Renfroe.
I know, dude. I know we were talking about this. Like we started our podcast like towards like the quarter point of the season, and we were talking about Renfroe and not being great and whether or not we should move him. But he had one of the best second halves of any Padre.
Oh yeah.
He did that. He did that his first year when he got his cup of coffee in September. He went off that time in September. But
this is second year in too. I mean, we just got to stop underrating Renfroe.
I think he's good. He's one of those guys I definitely envision long term. But for my MVP, I'm definitely taking Freddie Galvis is my pick.
That's what I was
He played every single game this year. He's a gamer, phenomenal defender.
Yeah, he's gonna look really good on another team next year.
He's got pop in his bat. It just seemed like you could count on him every night, and there was not really another player on the team that you could put in that discussion.
Yeah, I was gonna say Freddie Galvis as well, just because, like you said, he did play every game this season, and that you can't bat an eye at that. I mean,
from a team, he's a gamer. That's what I love to see in a player. And it's gonna be sad to potentially see him go to another team next year.
Yeah, but just to see from a team that doesn't have a lot of superstars to have that one consistent guy you can count on.
Yeah, and I think he's a guy that's really not a star in the league, but he's just consistent.
You know what's one of those things that makes me sad every year is, on like the MLB websites, they always have like, at least for the Padres website, they have like the players and they have their batting average and ERA and all this stuff. And, you don't qualify for a certain number of those if you don't get enough at bats. Yeah. Every year, it seems like there's only one or two guys who qualify for that for the Padres. So there's so much change on the team, and for a guy like Galvis who's playing 162 games, it's a breath of fresh air for us.
And maybe it's something that makes the Padres think about bringing him back next year. You never know.
Yeah. For Cy Young, I think it's a unanimous Joey Lucchesi.
Oh, yeah, hands down. You could maybe make a slight argument for Lauer, but
I was gonna say Lauer. Casey, but...
Lauer had some really bad starts, so it's
not no. I mean, I guess
it's all you got.
Gonna give it to
yeah, that's true.
He played.
Well,
I will say this:
Yates?
Lauer.
Well, yeah, but that's not. I mean,
I will say this: Lauer played phenomenal against the Dodgers. For some reason, he really owns the crap out of the Dodgers.
Good, we need that.
Yeah.
Do you think he can pitch 3 games in a row?
Well, who knows?
Well, let's get into our favorite segment, reality versus fantasy.
Favorite segment? I did a good thing, guys?
Yeah, it's a great idea. I'm super fan.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting, gives a little argument into it. It's fun. Usually the past couple of weeks we did football, but because baseball is the front headline this week, we're going to go with baseball. So the first reality, first fantasy is the American League wins the World Series. Brandon?
Go ahead.
I 100%. I think it's definitely a reality. Like I just said earlier, the top 3 teams, in my opinion, in baseball are all residing in the American League. So, actually, honestly, I think, in my opinion, the top 2 teams are squaring off. Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Dodgers, Yankees, I think, are the top 2 teams, in my opinion. And they're going to be squaring off.
You mean Red Sox, Yankees?
Or yeah.
Bite your tongue over there.
Who did I just say? Dodgers?
Yes, you did.
We've been talking too much Dodgers is a problem. But those are my top 2 picks, and I definitely think that at least whoever wins that matchup is probably going to win the whole thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. I mean, AL's got bats, and obviously the Dodgers have a lot of power hitters, but the AL also has better pitching. You look at the starting rotation on the Yankees, you look at the starting rotation on the Red Sox and the Astros. I take that against, Mr. Clayton Kershaw, who doesn't know how to pitch great in the playoffs, and whoever else they decided to line up against him. Astros, I think, play good as a team, so I could definitely see them coming out on top as well.
And they've done it before.
Yeah, it would be the first time we've seen back-to-back in a long time. But again, I think that the Yankees lineup is built to beat the Red Sox just like it would be built to beat the Dodgers. I think you're seeing very similar pitching rotations there with the hard-throwing lefties and power-hitting hitters in the American League. But no, 100% reality.
Yeah, I think as well. The next reality versus fantasy question or prediction we have is the Padres will give up Will Myers or Hunter Renfroe for a starting pitcher. Ryan, you want to take this one first?
I'm going to go with fantasy on this one. As much as I would like to see them go after a starting pitcher, I pray that they do not trade Renfroe, and I don't think anybody's going to want Will Myers.
Brandon?
I agree. It's fantasy. Probably for a different reason. I think they will go after a starting pitcher. I don't think they're going to trade up one of those 2 players though. I feel like they're going to swing a deal for a starter. I'm hoping they make a deal for someone like DeGrom or Syndergaard or one of those
players on the Mets that needs to get the hell out.
They really need a frontline starter who can show these young guys how to get it done.
You mean somebody that's not Clayton Richards or Tyson Ross?
They need someone. I mean, they brought in Eric Hosmer last year because he was the guy that they envisioned was he's been there, done that. He's going to show these young guys the ropes on how to get it done. I don't know. He didn't seem like he made that kind of impact that I think they were looking for, and I think they're going to look to bring in a starter who can show those young starters because all those young pitchers are coming up. We're thinking this year, so
I wouldn't be surprised if they give up a couple prospects for a pitcher. But no, I don't. Again, I just hope that they don't give up Renfroe. And
Will Myers is. I could honestly make an argument that he might get flipped, but like you said, I don't think there's going to be a market for him.
I don't.
So
I mean, with his injury consistency and
his value's so low right now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe for a team in the American League that needs a designated hitter, but I don't know if he'd be willing to give up a starting pitcher for that. So,
and you're not trading Renfroe after the finish he had. So,
God, that dude's got some power.
I'm going to go against you guys. I'm going to say reality. I think the Padres definitely going to make a move package with Will Myers for a starting pitcher.
I would like that more than Renfroe.
Yeah, I don't think Renfroe's going to be in the mix, but I definitely think that they're going to move Will Myers.
I hope that you're right. But
they'll have to package another young talent.
Well, I can see him
in the minors with Will Myers because
I could see him putting like Will Myers and Franchy Cordero together for starting pitcher. Man. I could see that.
I would still think they needed to give up an arm. Honestly, with that package, I think that they're going to have to give up. And obviously, Gore's off limits.
Yeah.
But maybe a player like Quintrell. Yeah. Wow. We used to disagree about everything.
I know, and you guys are in unison there.
We're in unison today.
Crazy, man.
All right, next reality versus fantasy. This one's a little bit of a stretch, but the Padres are going to acquire Manny Machado.
Dude, that's the biggest fantasy in the world.
I don't know. That's
why we don't have the money to pay him.
That's why it's called reality fantasy.
His $300 million contract is going to be worth more than our entire franchise.
I will say this. I saw an article that they discussed that the Padres could pursue him, but I think it's definitely a fantasy. I think there's such a long shot to get him.
Well, and he'd have to play third base.
Well, they do need a third baseman. And if you
don't want to play third base.
Well, you could play shortstop for a year, and then when when
Tatis
is up.
Guys.
Yeah,
he's coming up this year.
I don't think he's coming up this year. He still doesn't play AAA ball yet.
He's skipping it.
He's coming up.
He's skipping AAA.
He's
going
play
straight to the
AAA
bigs.
for like the first week and a half, and then once his game limit is good, straight up to the bigs.
Once he's allowed, he saves that year.
Dude, they have
Major League
to.
Service.
They have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it
I will
anymore.
say this: there is optimism. The Oakland A's went from 97 losses last year to 97 wins this year.
Yeah,
so
and then they got their ass kicked in the playoffs. But they got there.
They got there, and for us,
at least we don't have to play the Yankees in the first round.
For us, if we made a 1-game playoff right now, that would mean the world to us right now.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that this one's a stretch, but I don't think that you're not. I do think you're going to see a lot of articles in the offseason with the Padres in the mix with Manny Machado talks. I do think that that's definitely going to be a possibility.
You do see Preller tied to a lot of these like big name players. He's always. I will say
he's a con artist. That's what he is.
I will say this: Preller is a very active GM. That dude is busier than probably any other GM in baseball, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. Wrapping up our last reality versus fantasy segment, prediction is going to be Bryce Harper signs with the Cubs. Which one of you wants to take this one first? Brandon?
I wish you would have gone first, but
I can go first if you want me to.
I mean, like you said earlier, you think you might see him in pinstripes next year. I am going to agree. You will see him in pinstripes, but it's going to be the Cub pinstripes.
I said that earlier. I said Machado in pinstripes.
Oh, okay.
I think he's going to be in the black and white for the Navy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Bryce Harper I just have a hard time envisioning him on the Yankees because they have too many corner outfielders.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I could see him going to the Cubs because I think that Jason Hayward experiment has gone horribly sideways, and
Jason Hayward is garbage.
He is a huge disappointment for
He went
all
from
Cubs
being like
fans.
a power hitting lefty to like this slap hitting.
Well, I
it's
saw
just
that.
interesting the way Madden uses him too. Like him and Schwarber.
Yeah.
Together, it's like, well, what kind of pitcher do we have up, or who's throwing right now?
And he actually hits better off lefties than he does
righties. He's a plus defender as a corner outfield spot, but they moved him to center, and you're like, you're not a plus defender in center.
No.
So
got a good arm, but no, for what they paid for him, no, not worth it.
Certainly.
So Ryan, are you on the same feed?
I think this is definitely
fantasy?
real. I think it's a reality in the standpoint the Cubs have to add another bat to that lineup, and you just saw them go almost 9 innings without scoring a run against the Rockies. And, when Javier Baez is the best hitter on your team, taking nothing away from him because he had an amazing year. Yeah. But Chris Bryant went south a little bit this year. Anthony Rizzo had lower numbers than usual. Kyle Schwarber is inconsistent. The loss of Addison Russell is going to be huge to them. I don't think that he'll be wearing a Cubs uniform next year just with everything going on there. Like you said, the Jason Hayward experiment has failed. If they can move him. I liked what I saw from Happ this year. I liked what I saw from Almora Jr. I think both of them could be, a center fielder on that team. But Bryce Harper, definitely a reality with the Cubs. I don't know who else will offer him. I mean, honestly, the Yankees might make a run for him because they're the Yankees. You might see the Red Sox in the mix of things, but I think with the Cubs and the history and with having a World Series under their belt, definitely a possibility.
Well, and the disappointment of what they just went through too.
Yeah,
I mean, and they need to make a move.
And if he plays for the Dodgers, I'm just gonna freaking scream.
I can't imagine Dodgers.
No. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with both of you guys. I think it's a reality. Bryce Harper going to the Cubs. The Cubs are the favorite to sign him. I think they're a plus 150 to sign him.
There's no point for him to go back to the Nationals either.
No.
Oh, he's not going back. You saw his little farewell thing on Twitter where he posted all those pictures, and
he deserves an opportunity to play for a better team. I mean, he's he had an off year, but he had a great second half. But he was arguably the best player in the National League. Obviously, he's comparable with Mike Trout, but we all kind of unanimously agree that Trout's the better overall baseball player.
Yeah.
But he also dude is so passionate about the game. I mean, people talk about Mike Trout and like, oh, he's just so monotone. It's like, dude, he's the best player in baseball.
Yeah.
But Bryce Harper
Harper's
he brings so much energy to a stadium,
fiery.
and it's not like the Cubs need more, but he'll bring more.
He's the face of baseball, even though it should be Mike Trout. But
yeah, but like there's always the gems in our league. You know, Jose Altuve is not the face of baseball.
The
but
gems.
Yeah, I mean
like
just
little gems like stars. And
Yeah.
stuff, like diamond in the rough type players.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that there's always been players like that in every sport. You know, when you're looking at the National Football League, LaDainian Tomlinson was arguably the best running back in NFL history. Obviously, there's a ton of good names up there, but he's amongst the top 5. And the year he won MVP, you wouldn't even have known that he was a good player. I mean, they're just not.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, oh, the big sexy pick, or the guy that's flamboyant and obnoxious, the one that the cameras roll to. I mean, we talk about Cam Newton, and I mean he puts up average numbers every year, but you'd think he's the face of the NFL.
Yeah, you think he's Superman like he always does. But yeah, Cubs are the favorites to sign Bryce Harper, followed by the Dodgers, Yankees, and Phillies. I know Bryce Harper is also great friends with Chris Bryant, who's on the Cubs, so I definitely think that makes that more of a reality. But yeah, that was good segment, guys.
Good little segment.
We'll move over to NFL. A lot of stuff happened week 4. I don't know if you guys had an outstanding game that you saw that you want to talk about. Ryan, did your Chargers get a win this week?
Fuck off, Dean. Yes, we won.
Is that a yes? I don't know.
Gosh, that must have been tough against the San Francisco 49ers.
Is that who they
What are
played?
you talking about? Dude, okay. First of all, I'm tired of this shit. The 49ers are not a bad football team. They have one of the best front sevens in football.
But they don't have a quarterback right
There
now.
are statistics that show, well, C.J. Beathard played great. And there are statistics that show
Oh, it was the Chargers, so.
when the quarterback comes in. Never mind. Go
No,
ahead.
come on,
Go,
keep going. We're
go.
listening. Come on, we're
I
listening.
get
Go.
crap all the time. I'm not taking crap from you guys. Move on to the next one.
No, come on.
No,
What do you got?
come
Did
on.
Beathard with the statistic. He did what?
Quarterbacks that have come in off of a quarterback injury always have their best game 1. And he played great. I mean, he completed.
Teams don't know how to defend the players.
There's not enough
there's
tape
no,
on it.
There's no tape.
There's not
so.
enough tape on it. He played great. 49ers have a good defense. Chargers got off to a rocky start, but they finished the game. And I think that's something that Charger fans have been wanting for a long time. Obviously, we still have kicking woos, which apparently is the holder's fault because we cut our punter this week, not our kicker.
Did he miss some more kicks
He was 3 for 6
in that game?
Yeah, with PATs.
That's a lot of it. That's a lot of unfinished drives, though.
PATs and extra points combined, not just field goals. So he missed 2 extra points and a field goal.
Yeah, I mean, they got to figure something out.
But apparently it's the holder's fault.
Yeah. You got to laces out. It's not that hard.
Laces out.
I mean, Kaiser's kind of an idiot. I mean, the Rams had that blocked punt for a touchdown week 1, and Anthony Lynn said it perfectly. The dude took 3 steps before he punted the ball, and he was in his own end zone. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking.
You got to learn to half step it.
Yeah, so hopefully it works. And it was funny because Anthony Lynn was like, "There's no way all these kickers are that bad." And I mean, but think about it. I mean, Sturgis was a starter for the Eagles before he got hurt. You know, we had Novak last year who didn't play great. We had Young Ho Koo, and I mean Lambeau didn't play great.
They should not have unloaded Lambeau.
Well, but think about it, Lambeau was garbage on the Chargers.
I remember.
And that's kind of what Anthony Lynn is claiming. He's like, there's no way all these kickers are just that bad for us. So hopefully this new holder situation works. But they did get the W, and that's all that matters. But for games last week, I thought the Titans beating the Eagles was massive. The Titans are showing up.
I don't even want to talk about that game. So the Bills are dead to me because I'm in the Pick'em League, and I went Vikings over Bills, and the Bills won in week 3. And then I went the Eagles over the Titans because Titans have been garbage all season. And then all of a sudden they decided to turn around this game and show up.
The Titans?
Yeah.
They're like 3-1.
They actually were pretty solid.
They beat the Jaguars the week before.
That team is they lack so much flash. They just get the job done.
Oh, they're not a team that you're going to see like winning the Super Bowl, but I mean they could easily win that division. They
could go 9-7, and you look at them on paper like
that's the team that beat the Chiefs in the first round of the playoffs last year. I mean, sent them walking. But I mean, they're not a bad team. Mariota's just dangerously inconsistent. His style of play is very comparable to Alex Smith, minus the turnovers. Alex Smith does not turn the ball over. Marcus Mariota does, but their style is the same way. They're not going to drive the ball down the field, or they're not going to throw the ball far down the field. They're going to drive the field, use the run game, use their feet, have the short passes.
I will say this: the Titans got balls of steel. They went for a few fourth down plays. They could have tied the game and kicked a field goal on fourth down. They went for it on fourth down because they wanted to win. They ended up getting that touchdown. So, I mean, hats off to them. They went for the W in overtime, and it paid off for them.
Yeah, and the other big shocker this week is we're still seeing the Steelers garbage.
Steelers they just can't. Zero defense.
They're just not working as a team.
Yeah,
and they have no defense, like you said. There's holes everywhere. No one knows how to cover.
They need Le'Veon Bell back, is what they need.
Yeah,
well, there was the rumor saying that he's going to come back week 9.
He's going to come back right after bye week.
Yeah, I mean that's just so he gets a contract from somebody else next year. I mean, if he holds out all year, he doesn't get a contract.
I think the most controversial game though was the Browns and the Raiders.
Too many bad calls.
There was a couple bad calls. Yeah, the Raiders get their first win. John Gruden with his first win.
They still look like shit, though.
They looked terrible. And then, it sucks that Baker Mayfield couldn't go, back-to-back wins for the Browns. I mean, they haven't seen in a while.
Both their defenses were non-existent. But I did think the Browns had some pretty bad calls against them. But they had the opportunity to close the game out, and they didn't. I thought it was bad coaching. Nick Chubb, rookie running back, had 3 carries for like 80-something yards.
He had over 100 yards.
Was it over 100 yards?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And 2 touchdowns.
But they left him out of the game. So, I mean, Hugh Jackson's just a terrible coach. I mean, honestly, he coached that team into another loss.
You can't pull Carlos Hyde out. He's been doing a good job too. So
you got to play the hot hand. I mean, I thought
true.
The Broncos messed that up this week too. They pulled out Royce Freeman when they needed to run the clock out.
Royce Freeman's been running like 8 yards a carry or something ridiculous that.
The Chiefs deserve to lose that game. I mean, and now we look at a team we're talking about, Patrick Mahomes, still the best quarterback in the NFL. Still not jumping on that train. I don't see it. I'm not a believer. They're off to a hot start, just like they were last year. You saw the same thing with Alex Smith. But the Broncos lost that game. They didn't run the clock out like they should have, and they gave the Chiefs the opportunity to come back. Yes, Patrick Mahomes did it. I'm taking nothing away from that guy.
Yeah.
It's way too soon to sit here and talk about best quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, I think we all agree.
I'm just watching on SportsCenter all the time, and they're like, he's the best quarterback in football right now. It's like, no.
Well,
I think right now it's easy to say right now he is the best quarterback.
But I still don't look at that as a
You look at the first 4 games, and
from statistical standpoint, he's definitely put up the best.
I just don't look at the stats like that. I look at the consistency. Like last year, they were saying the same thing about Deshaun Watson, and he got hurt. So, I mean, it's not...
Well, defenses haven't had time to adjust completely to him yet. There's not enough game film on him.
And there's a lot of weapons on that team. I mean, he's got Travis Kelce, he's got Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins.
You don't want to penalize a guy because he's got tools.
No, not at all.
No, but the one thing that I think that gives him the best argument is you look at that game in Denver, and he had, they're down. He drives the team down to score that winning touchdown. And
don't...
You know what I mean? He takes the brunt of it, and he puts
it
on his back.
I just don't think that he
pass.
deserves
God.
That was an amazing play.
That was.
Incredible.
I mean, I'm rooting against the Chiefs just because. Yeah,
they said that he has more completions with his left hand than interceptions with his right hand, and I thought that was hilarious.
I mean, he's definitely lighting the league on fire, and he's definitely turning a lot of heads. I think it's like you said, way too early to say he's the best quarterback in the NFL, but it should be
let's
fun.
just say that the last time that a defense that gave up the 4th most points in the NFL to win a Super Bowl was the 1988 Oakland Raiders, and other than that, has never been done. Yep. They have Swiss cheese for defense. There are holes everywhere. The Broncos' offense is bad.
They were showed up that game, though. If you watch that game, they were swarming the ball. It looked like they were playing with an extra defender out there.
It's also
the Broncos' offense is terrible.
It's also
Like,
tough playing
it's-
in altitude, and the defense is constantly on the field because they're just gunning it down the field. I mean, when the defense is out there just getting worked,
But the Broncos lost that game. The Chiefs did not win. The Broncos lost. They had every opportunity to close them out, and they just didn't do the one thing they should have, which was run the ball with Royce Freeman. Yeah. Instead, they put the little guy in, who's been playing well. Lindsey's been playing amazing, but you had an opportunity to close out the division leader, the best team right now in the AFC. But no, the Broncos, stupid donkeys, ruined that. So,
yeah.
The donkeys.
Well, while we got this momentum going, this whole thing with the Buccaneers, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been, obviously, I know the cycle of him, and he's not that good of a quarterback, or he's not an elite quarterback, but he's been putting it down for this team. And then 1.5 bad games, and you decide to sit him to put Jameis Winston in?
Crap.
It's idiotic, in my opinion.
Brandon's going to argue with me. I have a fun statistic for both of you. Ryan Fitzpatrick has more touchdown passes and less interceptions than Super Bowl winning quarterback Troy Aikman. I know it was a different league when he played and he had Emmitt Smith, but those are not bullshit numbers.
No. Those are great numbers.
I mean,
he's inconsistent. I get that.
He's really bad, and you just those 4 or 5 pick games. You can't have those in the NFL.
Well, the week
Jameis
3
Winston
one
went out
wasn't
there
his
pick first time, the first throw.
He's just getting used to the NFL, though.
It's the whole, the wide receiver bobbles the ball and it gets intercepted. That's not his fault. You look at week 3, there was 4 picks that he threw because the wide receivers can't catch the ball. He still threw for over 400 yards in that game, so it shows
think he gives that team the best opportunity.
I do as well. I think it's idiotic that they're going to decide to go with Jameis Winston coming out of the bye.
I mean, he's the guy that they are building their franchise around. Not that I would pick him as a guy I'd want to build my franchise around, but
he's an idiot.
But if you're going to make that decision as making him your quarterback, you have to at least see what he can do.
I get it.
I mean,
I understand.
I get it, but let the guy lose the job.
I understand.
He did, though. He's lost his last 2 games. So, and their offenses look pretty bad.
They did lose 48-10.
Yeah,
but their defense looks terrible.
Their defense has been bad, but, I mean, also sometimes the defense is the product of the offense, but...
So, I'm reading it right now. The Buccaneers' defense is giving up 475 yards and 34.8 points per game.
But it doesn't allow your offense to produce well, because so then you're forcing their hand. They have to give up on the run. They have to start trying to get points fast, which leads to interceptions, which leads to turnovers. I mean,
they haven't been running the ball anyway, so
they don't have a running back.
They don't have an O-line either. I mean,
but honestly, to be 2-2 at this point, with their defense giving up that amount, 475 yards a game, and being 2-2, that's incredible. 38 points, 35.
Fitzpatrick still deserves that opportunity.
They've given him the opportunity, though. He started 5 games, hasn't he?
I would say 4.
Well, 4.
I still say give him 6. I would have given him 6.
I would have given him amount of time to let him show me that he lost the job. Because right now, in my eyes, I don't think he's.
Well, my only thing is, I didn't mind them taking him out to put Winston in. That's not the issue. The issue is that he's not starting next week. I still think he deserves the opportunity to start next week.
Yeah,
which is fair. I'm not totally against him starting, but it's Jameis Winston's team, and he hasn't necessarily earned it, but you have to give it to him because
he's the first round pick.
You picked him number 1 overall. I mean, you have to do it.
Yeah,
you're not building it around Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
but I saw he also has more touchdown passes than Terry.
But if you're looking to win games, I probably would agree with you that as of today, you're probably more likely to win games with Fitzpatrick. But
yeah. The 2 other big notes that I had was Adam Vinatieri becomes I think it was the all-time scorer in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So that's incredible. I mean, to be a kicker in the league for. God, it feels like our whole lifetime.
Yeah.
I think it's some 17 years or something like that.
He returned back to Foxborough today.
Yeah, I
mean, and got his ass whooped.
Yeah. He still made some monster kicks, though.
I mean, he's amazing.
He missed one, but
see if he can sign with the Chargers after the season.
Well, speaking of milestones, Tom Brady with his 500th career passing
That was
touchdown.
Yeah, 500
To
the
Josh
third,
Gordon. That was
the third most.
That was a nice catch.
That was.
He went
Josh
up
Gordon just went up and got that.
Over two guys.
Yeah.
Patriots look good again.
They do.
Everybody starts hating on him, man. That team is not bad.
Well, once they get their weapons back and Tom Brady can actually
one of those
do
teams
something with the ball,
you can't count them out.
No. And they play against crap teams all year.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Bills.
Jets?
Jets.
There you go.
I was like, what the hell's the other one?
But still, 500 career touchdowns, third most. I mean, it's pretty close.
I don't hate Tom Brady anymore. I'm over it.
The one guy that was...
I respect him too much.
I respect him, but I still don't like him.
The one guy that's going to bump him, though, that also has a chance to set another record is Drew Brees. He was, I think, 3 touchdowns away from eclipsing the 500 mark. It's definitely doable this season. And then also, he's 211 yards from becoming the most passing yards held by Peyton Manning. I mean, he's going to shatter that record.
1 quarter or 2 quarters next week?
1 quarter.
211 yards, 1 quarter?
No,
one
half.
I know why he says that, because he's got him on his fantasy team.
Yeah, so I got to give
me
more yards.
He's spreading those good vibes.
So we're doing some offense and defensive MVPs.
Yep, some quarter season MVP awards. Offensive MVP, I think Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Is in the running. I also think Calvin Ridley would be in the running for that. The Atlanta Falcons wide receiver.
It's hard to give it to a wide receiver, though.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley looks great, though.
He does
I
look
think
great.
he's more of my offensive rookie of the year right now. But yeah, he looks great.
Those are my 2 guys.
I got Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff has looked amazing. I think that they're similar situations. They both have a ton of weapons, and they both have explosive offenses. To me, Jared Goff has just made more impressive throws down the field. Obviously, you saw some of the big arm ability when the Chiefs played the Chargers. But Jared Goff threw a pass against the Vikings where he was scrambling to the right and just put it in the only place where the defenders weren't going to catch it to Connor Kupp in the end zone. And that stood out
Cooper
Kupp, sorry. So I think obviously Mahomes and him pretty close. Mahomes is going to get most people's yes because of the fact that he's thrown 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They're both 4-0. I just think Jared Goff has looked, from being the number 1 overall pick, a couple years ago, not knowing how to take a snap under center, he looks like has the ability to be an elite quarterback. Just the development over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm my top pick is obviously going to be Pat Mahomes, like I said. But if I were to pick a runner-up, I'm probably going to throw Alvin Kamara's name out there.
Yeah.
He's a multifaceted back who's just...
It's a great
pick. It just seems like he's just...
When he's not running the ball, he's catching the ball.
Yeah,
he's always got it.
He's he's out on the field constantly. It seems like with Mark Ingram out, he's really just helping that
Mark
offense.
Ingram lost his job indefinitely.
Well, he had already lost his job, but Ingram's been getting most of the early down work, and Kamara's getting all the passing scenarios.
Yeah.
But he would probably be my runner-up pick for offensive, and then defensive. I think we all can agree it's going to be Khalil Mack.
Nope.
No. Okay.
I'm going to call who Ryan thinks it is, but Brandon, I would definitely agree with you that Khalil Mack is.
Oh,
Stretch
God.
him out, Dean.
If I had to give a runner-up, and it pains me to say this because it's on one of the worst teams in the NFL,
say it with your chest.
Derwin James.
There it is.
I knew you were going to pick him.
There it is.
I love talented safeties. I love DBs that can play multiple positions, and he is all over the field. Defensive end, outside linebacker, strong safety.
So he'd be
coverage.
Your defensive rookie of the year.
No, he would be my defensive MVP.
Yeah, he'd probably be my runner-up defensive MVP.
Obviously, Khalil Mack is...
God, he's lighting that team on fire.
Yes, obviously. But I cannot say enough about Derwin James and the fact that he fell to 17th. This dude was a top 4 projected pick in the draft.
I think Ryan's excited about him.
Dude, I've been excited since we were at Avengers, and I didn't get to finish watching the draft.
I remember that.
And I screamed in the middle of the movie theater that the Chargers drafted Derwin James, and he has been even more electrifying than I could imagine. Like Dean said, he has 3 sacks in 4 games. He has an interception. the run back is obviously a little bit goofy, but he still got the interception.
Yeah.
He's breaking up passes, and he's forcing sacks. Not that he's picking them up, but he's getting back to the quarterback and making them, either throw interceptions or take sacks from another player.
And it's not only that, but seeing him in coverage, seeing his
He's
drop
on
back,
people.
he's on people.
Does he remind you of Eric Weddle at all?
But better.
A little bit. I don't know about better.
The
Eric
thing with
Weddle
Eric
still is.
I can't. I'm obviously like I can't say like Derwin James is better than Eric Weddle for the same argument that I can't say that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, because it has to be over a period of time. You have to see the longevity of it.
It's a long. You want a large sample size.
But what he does is Eric Weddle but more athletically. Eric Weddle did everything he was supposed to do, and I feel like the first 5-6 years of his career he never made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was the reason we beat Peyton Manning the year he went to the Broncos. I mean, he was basically following him around the whole time, calling out plays.
I still remember the Kansas City game I went to. He audibled to a direct snap for the punt to go straight to him on 4th down with the entire season on the line.
I remember that.
And he picked up that 4th down play. That's the one play that sticks out to me for Eric Weddle.
But I just think Derwin James is turning into a star. And I think that when Joey Bosa comes back, that team is going to be lethal. You got Corey Liuget coming back. Hopefully he's worked his butt off this offseason with being on PED suspension. But he has brought a different level of pressure to offenses when he's on the field. And not to mention, he plays more snaps than anybody else on that defense. I can't say enough good things about Derwin James, man. I mean, I was excited last year when they drafted Mike Williams, and nothing really came of that. I was excited the year before when we got Joey Bosa, and he sat out the first 4 games. So to have a player that you draft first round and show this much production and value to your team is huge.
Yeah, I would agree. I just wish he was playing for a different team.
I know you wish he was playing in San Diego, so just say it.
Yeah.
If he's playing here, yeah.
So one player, because we're running, we're cutting low on time. The one player that had the biggest start this season.
What do you mean by start? Like
the biggest start of this NFL season. So the most surprising, or is having a really outstanding season, or somebody that you didn't think wasn't gonna do as good and is doing, as like surpassing your expectations.
See, the thing with, and I know you guys are probably gonna say Patrick Mahomes for this, but last year I said that he was the best quarterback available in the draft. So I don't want all this like saying that I don't think he's good. Yeah. That's not what I'm saying. I thought last year that he deserved to be the first quarterback off the board. So his production doesn't surprise me. It surprises me that he hasn't thrown an interception.
Yeah.
But for most surprising start, I mean, I think I look at a team like the Bears. Mitchell Trubisky throwing 6 touchdown passes last week, and Khalil Mack coming in, and I mean, he's had a huge impact on that team. Their defense being as electrifying as it's been has been a shock to me. But I also look at a team like the Titans sitting at 3-1. We talked about them briefly a minute ago. They look like a complete team. If Marcus Mariota can start or stop turning the ball over, and they can develop a little bit of a run game, they'll be a team that could potentially win 10 or 11 games.
I'm probably going to go with Pat Mahomes, which is kind of a boring pick because everybody's talking about him right now. But, I mean, just seeing what he's done for that team going into the year, I think a lot of people are kind of writing him off, I think, going into the year. Yeah. And solid team. I mean, you got Andy Reid running the point, and you really can't rule out an Andy Reid team. They always seem to find a way to win in the regular season.
I was gonna say better be careful with your wording here.
In the regular season, and definitely has had his troubles in the playoffs. But he would be my pick.
I might end up biting my tongue at the end of the year, but I just don't think that this Chiefs team is as good as everybody thinks. I mean, they started off 4-0 or 5-0 last year.
They'll cool off, there's no doubt. But
yeah. I don't know. For me, I thought Saquon Barkley has had an incredible season so far. I mean, that Giants' offensive line is garbage.
Atrocious.
And Eli Manning can't do anything with the ball. He's broke off some big runs. He's talented. He's big and strong and explosive. So I think he's kind of my standout player. I wasn't expecting too much out of anything of the Giants offense, and he's kind of turned it around a little bit.
I think one other shocking thing that I would like to bring up is that all but one quarterback that was drafted in the first round this past year is now the starting quarterback on their team.
Yeah,
all rookie quarterbacks. So you have
It's
Baker.
the only one that's the Steelers quarterback, right? Didn't they draft a
Lamar
quarterback?
Jackson. He was drafted in the second or third round.
Oh, was it?
Rudolph. Yeah.
Oh,
but
the first round.
First round, yeah. So out of all first-round quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson's the only one that's not start for his team.
Speaking of, I mean, isn't it funny that they bring in Lamar Jackson and suddenly Joe Flacco's production's back up? Like,
That's what it's
Oh,
supposed
yeah.
to do. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly,
he lit a fire under him.
I've said the same thing about the Chargers for a long time. I mean, I love Phillip Rivers, but his breed of quarterback is dying. Pocket passers don't exist anymore. The Tom Brady's, Peyton Manning's, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning's, like that. It's a dying breed. You have to at least have the ability to extend plays. And I think that's a huge reason that Phillip Rivers won't win a Super Bowl, is because you look at plays that are made in the playoffs, and it's about extending plays. And you know, those are the type of plays that we look back on throughout the history of the NFL that end up, you know, being the make or break for teams. And again, taking nothing away from him, I just think that you look at mobility of players, and it's huge.
Yeah.
And you know, Joe Flacco wasn't much of, you know, a mobile quarterback either. But you bring in a quarterback like that, it shows you, hey, my lifeline is ending soon. I'm going to be out of a job, so I need this to show up. And I love the competition that comes from drafting a quarterback. You saw the same thing with Drew Brees when they brought in Phillip Rivers. I mean, he was projected as the number 2 on that team under Doug Flutie, and he was like, I have to play very well.
Yeah, I gotta show my worth.
I mean, competition breeds winners.
Yeah. The other big thing that happened yesterday on Wednesday, October 3rd, aside from, you know, the wild card games, all this, but hockey started. So NHL season kicked off. The Capitals destroyed the Bruins.
Regular
7-0.
season.
Yeah, regular season.
What does NHL stand for?
National Hockey League.
Oh, okay.
Shut the fuck up. But then my Canucks, obviously, as well, they won. I was
Oh wow! And
not surprised.
you've been dogging them.
Yeah, I was dogging them a little bit. I
That's
definitely.
a Capitals fan. Just kidding.
No,
I'm
I
just
just,
kidding. I'm just
I
kidding.
enjoy.
He loves
I
the
just
Ducks,
enjoy-
is
yeah.
what it is.
Fuck
The
the
Ducks.
God.
Which
That's
I
right.
I noticed one of the Bash brothers plays for the Yankees now. He's a first baseman.
Quack.
He looks so much like him.
Quack. Quack.
Quack, quack.
But yeah, the Canucks won. They beat the Calgary Flames 5-2. That was a really good game. A lot of offense. The one interesting bit of from the Canucks that I wanted to share with you guys was the head coach presented it, but it ended up being a team collective agreement that they decided that on road games there would be no video games. So the head coach came out and said, we're not allowing players to play Fortnite or play any video games while on the road. And
Why?
I thought that was interesting. They said it's to be more of a team, to do team dinners, team activities, kind of get camaraderie around each other. But I thought it was interesting. I was like, why is this an idea that you guys think about?
Why are we
we're
even
not-
talking about this though?
Yeah, it's your. I don't know. You should be able to play video games. You should do whatever you want as a.
Phones off 9 p.m.
Yeah, right. It's like we got a curfew all of a sudden. I
I'm
just thought it
putting
was
tape on
interesting.
your doors.
It was funny though because the other people in the league were saying, "Well, they got to make an excuse for losing all these games," and it was just like, "Oh man, felt so
God,
bad."
The
But
excuses of mediocrity. It's fantastic.
yeah, but NHL season started. I'm excited, so it'll be good to see, good to watch.
Yeah, we got
Some-
baseball, hockey, football, basketball.
We got everything, and then golf as well. The Ryder Cup was last weekend. The U.S. ended up losing that to Europe. It was kind of rough. The one story that came out of that I thought was extremely interesting was Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson are amazing friends. They've been friends for a really long time. Dustin Johnson has a history of being a drug addict and a substance abuser. And over that weekend, they got into a little fight. and they had to be separated by people surrounding them. So I mean, that made that made golf a little exciting. You know, you see these little rivalries starting again.
Hey, rivalries are what makes sports fun.
Yeah. But we'll get into our stat of the day. Ryan, it was your week up.
Stat of the day, stat of the day, dabba-dooba-doo, stat of the day, stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day. Bop!
What do you got for us?
I have a good one for you, and it is actually Padre, kind of
Nice.
related.
I love
I mean,
talking Padres.
Not really, but
We just need to get the Padre fans together. We just need them
We just
united.
need a Padre on.
Yeah.
So this is a fun one.
Yeah.
On April 23rd, 1999, Fernando Tatis, not
yeah.
his dad, obviously, Fernando Tatis.
Two
Jr.
grand slams in an inning.
2 grand slams in 1 inning.
Wow.
That was fun. I mean, you know, Padre season's over, and we have some nice, you know, history of
Off the Dodgers, too, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, ancient Padre stats aren't fun to bring up against Brandon because he is like Rain Man with that and just remembers everything. But
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Position of pitching in the 98 World Series.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't you get me started.
Oh, God.
God, I love 98 Padres. It just sears into my head.
That's incredible.
It
Two
is.
grand
Like,
slams in the same
what are
inning?
the
How
odds?
do you even do that?
What are the odds of you like getting the attempt to even do that?
Well, not only how many times does a batter actually get to bat twice in one
That's
inning?
what I'm saying. Like, how many
Yeah.
times you get?
The matter of having bases loaded twice in 1 inning. I wonder if he hit it off the same pitcher. I doubt it.
No.
Yeah, if you keep up
Yeah,
pitching
right.
that long, you gotta
Yeah,
do
right.
something. Jesus. But yeah, that was a good one. I like that one. Sorry, Brandon had to blue ball you and
That's
ruin
all
it on
good.
that one.
Sorry.
Oh man.
I thought it was setting up for another one.
Rain Man with the statistics. I like that.
Jesus. But yeah, we skipped over, Ryan, you had your wedding tasting last week. That's why you weren't here. How'd that go?
Well, what are we, an hour and something? And so Shaylee's not listening anymore.
Yeah.
So the food was great. I was not excited about sitting with 50 people or 50 couples. This certain venue that we're getting married at, they just do weddings. So instead of having private food tastings for all their couples, they do events where they have all the couples try their food. The food is great. You guys will love it. I'll go over the details of what we picked out later. But we're sitting with two couples at dinner. And the one had him and his wife, you know, we're going through the menu, and he's like, "Oh, I really like this salad." She's like, "No." "Oh, I really like this." No. I was like, "Dude, you know this is what marriage is gonna be like, right?" Like, and then the other couple was like, it's like no all the time. This other couple was, I think they were younger than Shaylee and I, but they had the guy was just an asshole, and they were sitting there going over their menu, and they're like, "Oh well, you know, we have 100 people coming to our wedding, and 3 of them are pescatarian," which, if people don't know, like they only eat fish. She's like, "We really like the chicken. We didn't like the fish." And I was like, "But we don't know what to get." Like, well, there's 100 people going to your
How
wedding.
do you know you didn't like the chicken if you didn't eat it?
No, they tried it. They tried
No,
it.
they like the chicken.
They
but they
tried
didn't like
both.
the fish.
Yeah, they're like, "Well, there's 3 pescatarians, so we don't know what to get." And I was like, "How many people are at your wedding?" 100. Like, well, it sounds like you're getting chicken. I was like, "What?" So we were just around people that were just way overthinking everything. And Shaylee and I have had a pretty easy go at wedding planning. It's not been too much of a struggle. But just listening to other couples bicker about dumb shit was like, oh my God. Like, you're seriously arguing over the fact that, I like the chicken better, but some people like fish. And it's like, get the fucking chicken.
Who cares?
Yeah, dude.
It's your wedding.
I think chicken's the safer option because there's a lot of people that really don't like fish, even though I prefer fish. But I think chicken,
And 3% of your freaking guests are going to be pescatarian. Like, dude, they'll eat the vegetables.
Just give them a can of tuna.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah.
But no, I felt like I was surrounded by idiots.
Yeah, did you say that there was going to be 3 salads?
There's 2 salads.
2 salads. Okay, I told Sarah that there was going to be 3 salads, and her jaw dropped. She was like, "Oh my gosh."
There'll be other vegetable options too.
She's like, "God, you little rabbit."
Yeah,
Take
dude.
it easy.
Sarah is a rabbit, man.
She's a rabbit. She loves vegetables. But yeah, I'm excited to eat. Well, obviously I'm excited to go to your wedding, but
but you gotta-
still,
And don't eat too much because you got to give a speech.
Well, I gotta offset the amount of alcohol that's in my system.
That's right. Don't worry.
Yeah, hopefully there's a lot of breads there. That was the other thing. So were you allowed to eat some of the foods? I know you're doing the keto.
Oh, I ate all the foods.
Yeah?
I cycle on and off keto.
You just like weren't doing it that day? You're
Nope.
like, nah, fuck it.
Well,
Right.
I mean, the real question was, were there wings?
No wings.
And
What if I want wings?
Are you going to get Costco wings? And
No, there was like late night snack options, and I was like, dude, our wedding ends at 9. I'm not giving you guys a late night snack. There was a s'mores bar, and they're like, oh, are you guys going to get the s'mores bar? I'm like, no, I'm not paying $800 for a s'mores bar. If you want a s'mores bar, bring your own marshmallows.
Bring your own, yeah. Make it yourself. Jeez.
We bought you wedding cake and dinner.
I'm excited for the cake, too. That cake tasting was amazing.
I feel like a lot of people don't eat a lot at weddings either, do they? I mean,
I'll eat a lot. Don't worry.
You're not going to have time.
No, most
you don't have time, dude.
That's your one job, is make sure I eat.
Well, I'm not going to... No, I got a lot of jobs that day.
I feel like most people, they're at the wedding, they're kind of like dancing and stuff, and they're not really eating. There's dinner time.
Yeah, there's a sit-down dinner
I know
time.
there's a sit-down dinner time, but you're not like...
That's when
You're not going to be just gorging out on food while you're all dressed up.
I mean,
I'll
did
have a
you
bill, I'll
not
be
hear
fine.
Did you not hear the story of how I made Ryan a full chicken? I like to eat, okay? I'm going to put it down.
Poppy's got to eat.
Yeah, Jesus. No, I'm excited to eat, though. That'll be good.
Wedding food does taste the best, so...
Yeah.
That was good. That was really good.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. We are 3 Amigos and a Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the number 3 Amigos, or, right? The number 3 Amigos _ and a pod. Oh, I forgot that. You can also listen to us anywhere that you listen to podcasts. We're hosted on Podbean, but you can get us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, literally anywhere. We're on YouTube as well. Our website is 3amigosandapodcast.wordpress.com, and our email is 3amigosandapodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up with any reality versus fantasy requests or predictions that you might have. Give us a follow, a like, all that kind of stuff. And again, we are the 3 Amigos and a Podcast.
Later, guys.
See ya.